It's just before midnight on August 14, 1947. In New Delhi, the Grand Colonial Viceroy's house glints under moonlight. Suddenly, the Union Jack starts its slow descent down the flagpole. Around the city, people hold their breath, not knowing that this small act will ignite waves of hope and chaos. But what twisted events led here? Who pulled the strings behind the curtain of empire's last hour? Let's dive into the blood, betrayal, and brilliance that birthed two nations. Lord Mountbatten arrives as the empire's last viceroy, handed a ticking time bomb. Could he deliver freedom without fiery destruction? The clock's ticking and every move counts. Imagine Mountbatten stepping off his plane in March 1947, handed a mandate to free India within a mere year. No blueprint, just an impossible deadline. His schedule: draft a partition plan, calm communal tensions, and exit before violence ripped the land apart. Every day, rumors, protests, and backroom deals piled up. It was a chess match where each wrong move meant bloodshed. British rule was built on divide and rule, pitting Hindus and Muslims against each other. But in 1947, this strategy backfires spectacularly, like setting a powder keg alight to control flames, only to lose the entire forest. Communal hatred isn't just political. It's a psychological trap, planting fear and suspicion that explodes unpredictably once freedom is announced. Yet amidst chaos, personal stories break through. Take Mountbatten's fraught meetings with Gandhi and Jinnah, each a titan pulling in opposite directions, embodying fierce visions and tragic stubbornness. These human clashes weren't just political. They revealed how fragile negotiations are when lives and identities tremble on the edge. The partition plan would ignite both hope and indescribable pain. Freedom arrives, but the land tears apart. Massive migrations, riots, and a bloodbath pulse through cities and villages. How did the map's sharp line become a wound? Cyril Radcliffe, a British lawyer who'd never been to India, was handed the impossible task of drawing borders overnight. Armed with little knowledge and no time, he sketched lines slicing through homes, villages, even families. The Radcliffe line became a razor's edge dividing billions overnight, an abstract political line with horrifyingly concrete consequences. As the partition lines were announced, chaos erupted immediately. Over 14 million people, Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, fled their ancestral homes in unprecedented migration waves. Stories poured in, trains packed with refugees attacked, entire villages emptied, neighbors turning killers. This mass displacement wasn't just movement. It was a seismic rupture of identity and belonging. In the book's darkest moments, violence spirals beyond politics into pure human cruelty. Massacres, abductions, and betrayals happen daily. Yet, tiny acts of courage and mercy shine through the horror, like a railway porter risking his life to save children. This gruesome birth of freedom shows how the cost of independence sometimes can be heartbreakingly high. As violence consumes India, one man tries to hold the country's soul together. Gandhi's last campaign is a desperate plea for unity, but darkness lurks close. Gandhi's nonviolent resistance was world famous, but in 1947 it became personal and urgent. Walking through burnt villages, fasting to stop bloodshed, he became a living symbol of both hope and unbearable grief. His call to love your enemy resonated deeply even as hatred exploded around him, a fragile thread in a raging storm. Despite his global stature, Gandhi's Delhi home was no fortress against the country's fractures. Rioters burned markets, mobs roamed unchecked, and political leaders turned cautious. Gandhi himself was imprisoned multiple times. This contrast, between his peaceful ideals and the raging reality, shows how ideals face brutal tests when history turns dark. Then, January 1948, Gandhi is assassinated by a young Hindu nationalist. The shockwaves stun a newly independent India. Millions mourn, but his death also sparks reflection. Freedom without forgiveness fractures societies. The book closes on this haunting note. Independence was a beginning, but peace remained a distant dream. So here's that flag again, dropping silently at midnight, victory and heartbreak entwined in its shadows. Freedom wasn't a clean break. It was a brutal, messy rebirth forged in fire and grief. Next time you wrestle with a tough challenge, remember Radcliffe drawing lines in the dark and Gandhi fasting amid chaos. Sometimes the hardest battles come before peace. Try holding space for all the complexity in your own decisions. It's where real freedom begins. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.